what's up, man? This is Boss Talk episode 2 with Rick. I have my special guest, Edwin Desamour. Just tell people who are you, where are you from?
My name is Ed Desamour. I'm from West Kensington, the good lands of Philadelphia. I don't like to call it the Badlands because there's a lot of good people that still live down there. And I hate to see those folks labeled anything bad when there's beautiful people down there. Some things going on. I'm born and raised in Philly, a motivational speaker, a mentor, and an entrepreneur.
What businesses or organizations are you part of at the moment?
I'm the founder and the CEO of Desamour LCC, Desamour Beard Essentials. We sell beard products, grooming products. I'm also a motivational speaker. I go out and speak. People call me. Now I don't speak because of the COVID at different places, but I speak actually on Zoom now. On Zoom meetings, they have me out as a guest on a larger scale. And I'm also still a dean by choice. I wanted to stay down at Stetson Middle School, a school that I got kicked out of when I was a kid, and now I'm back there as a dean. So
School I barely graduated out of. What sparked you to become a motivational speaker?
basically, when I was young, I wish I had someone like me to come and plant seeds and motivate me to do the right thing. I think me coming up, a lot of the older guys just pointed me in the wrong direction, not the right direction. So I wanted to be the opposite this time, because a lot of times, young folks always say that's my old head, but not understanding, just because you're giving this person a title, is he positive or negative? He's pointing you in the right direction. So what sparked me into doing that is, especially with young folks, is to be an example. But also when I go out and speak to social workers, police officers, I also want to put a face saying that, you know, the young folks where I come from, they really are good kids. They're put in rough predicaments and come from rough neighborhoods. But if you get a chance to know them, there's some beautiful young people down in that neighborhood.
With the city going up, like I know you've seen the statistics, like the killings, the crime that's going up. What advice do you think these kids need at this moment?
Uh, Not just advice. I think they need a lot of support. They need people, such as you, your crew, your friends, to show an example. Right now, they need examples. There's not enough examples out here. So earlier you were speaking about a podcast and stuff like this is going on. Young people need to know that you're doing this. So it's kind of like, how do people like me come behind guys like you guys and promote you guys and support you guys and put you guys out there? Because young people need to see that someone who looks like them, talks like them, and has experienced different things that have, chose to make the right choice, because it's very difficult in a neighborhood like that. Once they step out their house, everything's negative.
Yeah.
You still got a choice.
That's actually one of our mission statements. It's a network from us for us. Um, because it's we look the same. We from the same neighborhood, and we doing this, and you could do this also.
Yep.
With that being said, how does an absent father affect the teenager life? Do you feel like it's absent fathers that's why everything's going up, or do you think it's
Yeah.
fathers there and just not being a father?
Yeah, I think a lot of people really don't speak on that as much. Uh, a father plays a major role. I know we got a lot of mothers stepping up. I'm not taking from moms. You have mothers such as your mother stepped up and go above and beyond. But there's nothing that can really replace the feeling of having a father. And what made me really think about that one time is my two youngest boys. I took them down to. I have a rec center that I help rehab called Waterloo Playground, and I decided to bring my boys down there to meet some of the kids from that neighborhood. And as my kids started to know those kids, these were 8-year olds, 9-year olds, 10-year olds. Um, my kids came to me and said, "Hey, Dad," I said, "What's going on?" They said, "None of those kids had fathers." So, I typically grew up in a neighborhood where I'm used to seeing that, so it wasn't a big thing for me to see or hear. But it was a shocker to my kids. So usually on the way home, I try to debrief with them and talk with them about, what they saw and how they felt. So on the way home, I said, "So you notice they didn't have fathers?" They said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, how do you feel about that?" And they had questions. They were like, "Well, if they don't have a father, how do they survive? How do they know which way to go?"
Damn.
How do they know what to do? And I was like, wow. So it made me realize my place as a father and who I am. And I'm like, okay, because they look at me as saying, Dad, you're someone who gives me guidance. But if I didn't have you, how
Who?
do I know how to be guided? So I think fathers, I don't just think, I believe fathers play a big part. I think society doesn't really promote that as much. You know, Mother's Day come around, there's not but Mother's Day stuff all over the damn place. You know,
Father's Day ain't
you know,
nothing.
Father's Day, you know, fathers should be right before the COVID hit, believe it or not. I was planning on doing a big event. I wanted to make it a yearly event. I was planning on still doing it, like a triathlon in the neighborhood. What I wanted was whether you was a father or not, whether you were uncle, whether you were a grandfather, a father, or some type of male figure in a young person's life, and what we want to do is map out a certain neighborhood and have uh, them do a challenge together and make it, and then do this challenge together to show support. But fathers are needed. Fathers, you know, and male role models are really needed.
What with that was I feel that because like growing up, my mom told me everything. Like, oh, you don't do this, you don't do that, and my cousins taught me everything, and they wasn't the brightest. Like so it's just like when I met when I got into mimic, y'all taught me like, oh, like you shave like this. This how you shave. This how you conduct yourself in public places. You don't have to act all loud and obnoxious. You just be yourself. Like
Yeah,
y'all taught me, I personally, how to be a man. I just want to say thank you right now in person. Give you flowers while you can smell them now. Um, what advice can you give somebody that doesn't have no positive role model, doesn't have nothing like going for themselves, like their house is just in shambles, and they thinking like, oh, this is it. I'm gonna go get a ratchet and go rob this nigga down the block. Because
yeah,
we don't have no money, we have nothing to eat.
that's a very good question. And I always like to say, you know, when they say there's nothing out here, I don't know where to turn. That's a lie. When you know how to go on YouTube and search up certain things, when you know how to go on World Star, when you know how to go on Facebook or Instagram or whatever social media page to search things out, search somebody out, you could use those same skill sets to identify certain things that are out there so that you could expose yourself or get out there. Just how you can find out about a party to get to a party, you can find out about a positive event, like such as your podcast or the upcoming things you got going on or anything else, right? Just put it out there, figure out what's going on. But it is about being disciplined. Uh, it's about what you want because there are a lot of young folks down there that are still choosing to do the right thing. You know, I know kids in good neighborhoods that are choosing to do bad things. I know kids that are born that have a mother and father at home, but they still want to be down a neighborhood. And I know kids down a neighborhood that want out. But it's about you wanting that change. You know, some lady confronted me not so long ago and said, "Mr. Desamour, I heard you helped Miss Lucy's son out, and I heard you got him in college. I need you to do the same thing for my son." I was like, "I don't know what I could do for your son. He got to want it." The reason I helped Lucy's son out is because he wanted it. All I was a support system. I can't force you to do anything. You know, you were a part of Mimic before. When I look at half of that group, few of them are dead, few of them are strung out on drugs, and then some of them have made the great choices. You know, the choice is yours. At the end of the day, you
I,
still have the power of making a choice.
I feel like some people they're afraid of what others would say. Like me growing up, I didn't want to do nothing outside of my comfort zone. My comfort zone is, oh, Ricky fight, Ricky talk to girls, Ricky play sports. That's it. That's all I wanted to be known as. Um, and I felt like if they known me for something else, like, oh, he likes school, like I would be like a weirdo to people, or like,
Mhm.
oh, he's smart. What the fuck? Like, I don't. And I feel like now, like people are like, oh, I want to be a shooter. Like, I don't want to be no businessman because they lame. Like, oh, the shooters are getting glorified at the moment. Like, they have to understand, like, yo, what your heart want? What do you want? Like,
Yeah.
like,
I mean, at the end of the day, shooters are going to jail. People don't speak about that. Shooters are serving life in jail. You know, people don't talk about how these dudes go to jail, end up sitting in their cell crying. You know, because they're not going to make it back home. But you know, we're doing things that are not when I look at my community, it really hurts my heart, my soul. I spoke to my brother, Pastor Eric Desamour, about it when we walk around. A 8-year-old girl came out of a SEPTA bus last week and got shot. Nobody's talking about that.
Nobody's talking about that.
Nobody, and that's somebody's child. And then people want to brag about being shooters. You're doing the nonsense where people are being held hostage in their homes. You got to look at the damage you're doing to your own neighborhood, your own family, your own community. The choice is yours again. It's about what you want and what you put out.
With everything you said today, what do you want your legacy to be? Like, what do you want Edwin Desamour to be known as?
That redemption is possible. You know, um, I put an old clipping of one of my shows up today on Facebook, and I mentioned that the beautiful part about life is every day when you get to open your eyes, is a new day to start all over again. I even have a tattoo that talks about, we're born more than once. Every day we wake up, we're born again, and you have a chance to start a new day all over again. You know, and I try to perfect that, and I want folks to understand they have the opportunity to do the same thing.
Yeah, man. Here at Boss Talk, we interview people that we feel as though that's a staple in the community or somebody could benefit from. That's what this whole segment is about. Boss Talk to is supporting our guests, giving them their flowers while they can still smell them. Because some people don't say, oh, like he was a great person after he died. He's a great person during he was alive. What was you doing for him? Like, what type of support was you giving him? And
Mhm.
on behalf of Inspired by True Events Network, we just want to give you your props. You really helped a lot of people, and personally, you helped me get to where I'm at. Yeah, man. With that being said, thank you for letting me interview you.